For centuries, this book wasn't debated. It wasn't challenged. It was quietly removed. Not because it was proven false, but because of what it claimed was real. The Book of Enoch, a text that was once quoted, circulated, and treated seriously by early religious communities until it slowly vanished from official scripture. And the reason it disappeared isn't what most people think. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this book made leaders uncomfortable and why its ideas were considered dangerous long before modern times. Because the problem with Enoch isn't authorship, it's content. According to tradition, Enoch wasn't a king. He wasn't a priest. He wasn't even a warrior. He was described as someone who walked with God. And unlike other figures, Enoch never dies in the story. He's taken, removed, and shown things no other human is allowed to see. That alone should raise questions. But here's where the discomfort begins. The Book of Enoch doesn't read like poetry. It doesn't speak in riddles. It describes events, structures, beings, and it does so with unsettling confidence. Early Jewish and Christian communities didn't initially reject this text. In fact, fragments of it were found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, meaning it was copied, preserved, and valued. Some early writers even quoted it directly. So why remove it later? The official explanation is that it wasn't divinely inspired, that it didn't meet the standards of canon. But that explanation falls apart when you look closer, because many texts that were included are far more symbolic, far more abstract, and far less detailed. Enoch was specific, too specific. It described a universe that didn't match the clean, controlled theology leaders were trying to build. It talked about beings that weren't demons, but also weren't human. Beings assigned to observe humanity, to watch, and then to interfere. That idea alone destabilized everything. Because if these beings existed, then humanity was never alone, never fully in control, and never the sole focus of creation. And that's not a comfortable foundation for authority. So over time, Enoch wasn't publicly condemned. It was quietly sidelined, removed from official lists, labeled extra-biblical, and eventually treated as myth. But here's the problem. You don't erase a harmless myth this thoroughly. And you don't keep finding versions of the same story echoed across ancient cultures by accident. The Book of Enoch wasn't dangerous because it contradicted scripture. It was dangerous because it expanded it. And what Enoch describes next is where the real problem begins. Because he doesn't just claim these beings existed, he names them. And once you understand who they were supposed to be, everything else starts to make sense. That's where episode 2 begins. According to the Book of Enoch, when Enoch was taken, he wasn't brought into heaven. He was brought in to observe. The text describes Enoch being shown structured realms, not chaos, not peace, but order. Places assigned for specific purposes, boundaries that could not be crossed. What's unsettling is what he wasn't allowed to see. Certain areas were sealed. Certain knowledge was restricted. Enoch is repeatedly told that some things are not meant for human understanding. Not yet. He sees where the watchers are held. He sees where judgment is prepared. But he's stopped before the final answers are revealed. This wasn't about enlightenment. It was about limitation. Enoch's role wasn't to change outcomes or warn humanity directly. It was to witness how the system works when boundaries are crossed. And that's the key detail most people miss. Heaven, in this text, isn't a place of mystery. It's a place of rules. And Enoch was shown just enough to understand the cost of breaking them.